So you want to own your own machine shop, do you?
Would you do it again?
Oh, definitely.
Definitely.
Yeah, in a heartbeat. It has to be a 15 RA or better.
Oh, wow.
Used to wake up in the middle of the night worrying about how I'm going to pay bills and things like that.
Those are beautiful. Nice.
Right now, you know, 25 years later, things are good. You know, we make a decent amount of money, and a lot of the machines are paid off, I think.
All right, so today we're headed to Exigo Manufacturing in Nazareth, Pennsylvania. We're going to talk to Craig Traugher. He's nice enough to show us around. They make parts for the pharmaceutical industry, so let's check it out. So this is all 316?
316, 304, a little bit of 303. We also do Hastelloy, every now and then some titanium.
And then you're just taking a bar stock and sawing it up into slugs?
When we go to Hastelloy, we put a brand new blade on.
Okay.
If we're done with it, we can go back and cut 316 with it, but we can't cut with a used blade. It wears them out too fast. It goes through blades. 2-inch slugs like these, you might get 8 to 10 slices before you have to change the blade. So it eats blades up. 316, 304, we can probably do 400 or 500 slices before we need to change it.
Wow.
On a 2-inch. An operator, the mill guys are right here, so they'll come over and they unload it. We rinse the parts and we put them on a cart. Going most of the day. One of our most used machines. It's one of our first machines that we bought.
Yeah. Looks like an older one.
It's old. It's going to be 25 years old. It's a hem saw. They're great saws. They last forever.
Okay.
It looks old and crusty, but it still works good. So.
And then is this 316 here?
This is 303 actually.
303. Okay.
Yeah, we're making test fittings for a customer. They're going to blow up their hoses, so they just put junk fittings on it, blow them up, and throw them away.
Okay.
This is an electropolishing process here. We take the fittings and they get put on fixtures and dipped in an acid tank, and electric is run through them.
Okay.
And what it does is it takes off the carbon off the outside and leaves chrome and nickel, makes it more rust resistant.
Okay.
When they come out, they look chrome plated.
Okay. So are you actually plating it, or
Nope.
it just like polished?
It's taking material away, leaving the chrome and nickel. So
okay.
as the chrome and nickel is left behind, it makes it shinier.
Okay.
So it's taking the iron away, which iron rusts. And here we have our 2 milling setups.
Okay.
This one has pallets, which runs nonstop. We can keep it running.
Yep.
The other one is just a single table. You have to open it, change the part each time.
Uh-huh. And do you do any like lights out machining?
Not on these. They go too quickly. We don't have enough pallets. It only takes, a pallet takes an hour and a half, so it's not worth running overnight.
Okay. So this is some kind of a valve or something?
It's a sampling device. It's part of a conglomerate
Okay.
of parts that get put together. It's a proprietary part for
Sure.
the customer.
Okay. And for all of this stuff is pharmaceutical, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Right now, this one isn't running. We have 2 of these LTs.
Okay.
Twin spindle, twin turrets.
Okay.
Part that we make on it. It makes one part, but we're waiting for more orders. They're slow right now.
Okay. And are these live? Yeah, the live turrets.
Yep,
Okay.
live
so you can
turrets.
do milling and turning on both.
Correct.
Cool. So do you pass parts off, or are you just bar feeding from?
We're bar feeding from the left. It kicks it off. So we're doing first operation on here and the second operation on the right side.
Nice. And then a parts catcher.
Parts catcher throws it out to a conveyor belt. Conveyor belt takes it out to the Royal Roto Rack. This, when it's running, we do run at night.
Okay.
The Roto Rack leaves us run it at night so the parts don't smack into each other. They come in the morning, they have a bunch of parts in the middle of the Roto Rack.
Okay.
So these are second operation.
Okay. How's it going? Good, how are you? Good.
These are first operation, little pipe threads we're making. This is an automatic machine, bar feeder.
Okay.
Does the first operation of the parts, and then they will go to another machine for finish.
Those are beautiful. Nice. simulation there. You can see what is running in the machine. Pretty cool.
Move for a window.
Yeah. So you threw a part out of the truck?
Yeah. So these are first operation. We do the hose barb.
Okay.
And he's doing the second operation right now.
So a hose goes on each side of that.
But this is a hose barb on here. This is a compression tube fitting.
Okay. How old are these machines?
That is our first machine. It's 25 years old and still running.
Wow.
It's like the saw. It was bought at the same time the saw was bought, and they're old and rusty looking from the coolant and stuff, but they've held up quite well.
Sweet. Still holding size?
Yeah, we've had crashes over the years that we put spindle bearings in it twice. That's about it. Little things here and there, sensors and stuff, but yeah, it holds size.
What's the tightest tolerance you hold in here?
Most of our fittings are ±5. We have some that are ±1, so we don't have 10 tolerances that we have to really worry about. Single chucker like those three over there.
Okay. Yep.
So he's in setup right now. He finished the parts.
Alright. Is this a live turret or no?
No.
Oh, okay.
So this is the part that he just finished.
Okay. Nice. Beautiful surface finish on this stuff.
Yeah.
That's probably super important, right?
Yeah.
The surface finish?
Especially the internal. Has to be a 15 RA or better.
Oh, wow. Beautiful. What material is this one?
These are 316.
316, okay.
And this one is making the crimp collars.
Okay, so that gets squeezed around.
This gets put over the hose.
Okay.
The fitting goes inside. They get crushed down on.
Okay.
And they become one.
Nice.
Another bar feeder, chucker.
So this machine is totally dedicated to making these crimp collars?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, it makes 30 different sizes and designs.
Okay. Cool.
This is another one that makes the fittings complete.
Okay.
So the first operation it does all this, and then the machine has a robot that turns it around, and then the second side gets finished. So it'll pick up a slug over here and put a finished part in over here.
Okay, that's cool.
Fill these up, it lifts up, and they call it a gantry loader. It grabs a fitting.
Nice. There you can see the two spindles. Okay, so robot puts it in, and it picks it out.
Station up here.
Okay, flips the part, brings it in.
It takes apart, they turn, it comes over, grabs it, comes back. So
cool.
This variety, they have a drawer type, but this variety has 2 plates.
Okay.
And the robot, when it's finished, will turn the plate and start machining the second side. So the operator will unload and reload in the safety over here, and the robot will just feed the machine.
Assuming those chip balls that are stuck on the parts can be a bit of a pain?
Yes.
How do you deal with those? The operator just rips them off manually? Mainly we live with it and make sure that the robot isn't grabbing the part where the chips are. The chips, the way we have it, get pushed to the back, so we don't have a problem with that. Okay. And I'm assuming that you just get a chip ball because you're doing a finishing cut and taking a real light cut. It's probably hard to break it. Well, what are you taking, like just a few thou for the finishing?
5 on a side usually.
5 on a side?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Very light. This is another chucker. He's setting up for first operation. This is like the other one that we looked at.
Okay.
The first lathe that we looked at. I'm short-handed, so we don't have anybody running it because we're using a couple more machinists.
Yeah, that's a big problem. You kind of always struggling with trying to find guys and
yes,
keep
constantly.
people here. Now you said you did a bunch of work. You work with Votech, right?
I do. It's hard to get them. Other companies have found out about it over the last 5-10 years. And the bigger companies steal them. They throw more money at them. And,
So a bunch of all the local manufacturers probably go to the Votech and try to snag up the guys.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, do you have kids that come for like internships or stuff, like while they're in the program, or you just mostly hire them once they're done?
I will bring them on for co-op.
Okay.
So they'll go to school for half a day, and the other half they'll come to work, and they'll work 3-4 hours all time, full time during the summer. And then if they like it and we like them, we'll bring them on full time when they graduate.
Okay.
And to be honest, they learn more on the job than they do in school.
Yeah.
School's great, show them the basics and stuff, but out on the job, working with live machines and stuff, that's
right.
where they really get a lot of experience. I have 3-4 guys here now that are Votech students that have stayed on, and they all say the same thing. Once they're here for a year, they're like, wow, I've learned so much working than I did in school.
I mean, these machines are way more serious machines than what they have at, at Votech, right? They probably just have some manual equipment, maybe a Haas or something.
They have Haas mill, Haas lathe, CNCs, but unfortunately the teachers have a mindset of teaching them how to grind high-speed steel tools and manual machining, and they need to learn the basics, and then they put them on CNCs in their 12th grade, but usually they're on co-op by 11th grade.
So they should start them right with the CNCs right away.
I think they should, yes. I argue with the teachers all the time that give them the basics. This is what it used to be when it was Bethlehem Steel was local and stuff. This is the new stuff. It's all CNC. It's carbide inserts that you change. You don't have to sharpen your tools. It's high tech. It's the way to go. That's what everybody uses now.
Yeah, because nobody uses high-speed steel anymore. So there's like, that used to be a whole art form of learning how to grind your steel and put different angles on them.
They have them grinding, threading tools, and I'm like, no. You buy a threading tool, whatever pitch that you're doing, and you're done.
Right. You know, with a lathe, it's all programmed in the computer, and you just type in your pitch, and they need to know how to use the modern equipment.
Correct. Right. That's the biggest problem with the Votech. They're stuck in the past yet, unfortunately. I love them, and I want kids to take the courses, but they need to get up to speed on teaching them CNCs more.
Right. Yeah. Now this machine, you were telling me you had got this machine for a dedicated job, right?
Correct. Both of these, they make one part.
Okay. Because you had some huge order from...
Yeah, we were making 1,000 a week. Now we make about 1,000 every month and a half.
Oh, geez.
So this one was sitting. We set it up for a hose bar fitting just to keep it running. The work will come back right now. I think with the elections and stuff, everything's slowed down. But once things get settled in and the elections are over, I think things will get much better. And I think they'll pick up. They have slow times. When we had the first machine, we didn't have any work for 6 months, and then it came back, and we had so much work we had to buy the second machine.
So, for people that don't know, I mean, these are obviously really expensive machines. So, you're projecting to have this work, and you make a big purchase, and you have payments on the machine, and then the work doesn't come.
Yep.
It's done, right?
Payment's still there. So this is $500,000. So.
Wow. So.
Yes.
So that's just kind of the risk you have to take, right?
It is. It is. What we do, we can make just about any part on any machine. We have 12 lathes, and they're all different sizes and shapes. And this is a twin spindle, but we're only using one spindle. We're using both turrets, but we're not using any live tooling or anything. So it's overkill, but at least it's working, making money to pay it. So.
Yeah, that would be nerve-wracking to spend that much money and then not have...
Yes. 22 was our best year ever. 23 was our second worst. So it goes from, feast to famine.
And then I would assume you have to lay people off when that stuff happens? Or do you kind of just try to find work for the guys?
We laid one person off, and we built inventory and took it on the chin. You have to buy material, pay people to make the parts, and put them on the shelf and not sell them. The good news is when sales started picking up, we had a lot of stuff on the shelves, and the customers loved it because, we can get it out today yet. So it made them happy. We didn't tell them it's 2 to 4 weeks delivery.
So
that was good.
Between having a hard time getting machinists, and then if your work dries up, you want to keep your machinists.
Yes.
So you got to dump the money in to just put it on the shelf.
Ran our credit line through the roof, and just kept our guys on, paid their health care, paid their wages, and just keep going, and keep our fingers crossed that work picks up. So so you want to own your own machine shop, do you?
I would assume that's super stressful.
It is at times. I used to wake up in the middle of the night worrying about how I'm going to pay bills and things like that. After 25 years, you get used to it, so I don't worry as much.
Okay.
We have enough credit line to take care of everything, and we have a fairly constant flow of work right now, and we're always looking for more. So
Right.
Anything that comes along, we try to grab it.
Right. Was there ever a time when you like thought the business wasn't going to make it? Like you were pretty convinced you were going to have to shut it down?
In '08, we went from 13 employees to 4.
Wow.
And we were going to lay the last 4 guys off and just the owners running the machines and doing everything. And we held off for one more payroll before we laid anybody off, and then work started picking up, and we got through it. That was probably the worst. I didn't think we were going to go out of business, but it was just going to be like we started, just
Right.
the owners running machines.
Right.
So,
You and your partner?
yeah.
Yeah. Yep. I would not have slept at all. How did you get started even in the business? Were you in manufacturing, working in another shop, or?
Yes, my partner and I worked at another shop, and they were bought out by a French company, and they started buying all of our competitors and closing them down. And we could sort of see it on the writing on the wall. They were going to close us down, and we hooked up with another gentleman that used to be our boss, and the 3 of us started this business, and we do what we did at our old company and making pharmaceutical fittings. And a year after we started our business, they closed our shop that we worked at.
So you got out kind of right
We
in
got
time.
out just in time, yeah. And we make fittings for their competitor. So, yeah.
I mean, it takes a lot of money to get a shop started,
Yes,
to buy these machines.
yes.
So did you guys just take out big loans, or did you have an investor, or just like get the work first and then buy the machines, or what was the process?
All 3 of us put money in, home equity loans, beg, borrow, steal some money, and to start the business. And we knew Gossiger, the salesman, and the people at Gossiger. We knew tool sales firms, and from over the years, and they gave us credit.
Okay.
And bank gave us a credit line, and the money we had put in, each of us, and our credit line, it kept us going for the first year. And we just looked for business, called people that we knew in the industry before, and looked for work. Very hard times, and slowly, it was very slow. And we would work our regular job and come in at night and run our business.
Wow.
And slowly, as work picked up, we left our day job. And
So you kept your foot at your other job just to kind of make sure,
Yes.
I mean, to pay your bills, one,
Yes.
probably, and then make sure it was going to work out.
Yeah, we took no pay from our business, you know,
Right.
for the first
Just dumped it all
4
back
months,
in.
5 months.
Yeah.
And and just everything was on our credit line and our money that we put in to pay the bills.
Wow.
We didn't have any money to take a paycheck.
So you didn't make any money from it for 5 months, probably?
4 or 5 months, we had enough work that we could start quitting our job and come on. And we took a pay cut, you know, from our old job to our business. We took pay cuts, and a lot. Just tighten your belt, and this is what we wanted to do. So, you know, and we knew, like I said, we saw the writing on the wall that where we were working was going to get closed, and we dodged it, and we got out before they closed it, so it was a good thing.
Yeah. So would you do it again?
Oh, definitely.
Definitely.
Yeah, in a heartbeat.
What, would you do anything differently if you did it again?
Probably not. I mean, everything worked out good. I knew it was going to be hard. You know, some people would say it's not worth owning your own business.
Right.
You know, it's a lot of work, a lot of stress and stuff, but I've worked harder for other people.
Right.
So it pays off in the end.
Might as well work for yourself if you're working just as hard.
Right. I mean, right now, you know, 25 years later, things are good. You know, we make a decent amount of money, and a lot of the machines are paid off. I think these 3 have to be paid off debt. It's like 1, 2, and 3 years, and they're all paid off.
Right.
Everything else is paid off.
That's
So,
awesome.
Yeah. So, and we're out of room for any more machines, but the robot machine is really nice because you can't find workers.
Right.
It runs itself. You need smarter workers. When we first got it, some of the guys were scared that, oh, it's going to replace us. And I'm like, no, we need workers. We just need smarter workers, you know, and it does the menial tasks that you don't want to do.
Right.
And it does it over and over and over. But I need smarter people to set them up, to
Right.
program them, you know, to check the parts that are coming off, things like that. But no, that's the way. Automation's the way to go. But you need smarter people. So.
Yeah, because the robot technology is good for picking up and pressing a go button, but it's not ever gonna switch a job over, probably, right? Or at least how you have things set up here, right?
Correct.
We're probably a ways off in technology to get to replace a true machinist.
I've seen shops where they have it sets the part on a CMM and inspects it and everything. It's really neat. It's high tech. We're not there, and the cost is really expensive.
Yeah, I mean, you might have to spend 5 times as much or 10 times as much to get those 2 extra steps of inspection.
That was the nice thing about the AWR. It was cheap. That whole setup is $150,000 for a brand new lathe and a brand new robot.
What would you say is like the hardest part about owning your own shop?
Finding the money to start.
Yeah.
And I said, luckily there was 3 of us, and we all threw some money in to start it. And like I said, home equity loans, borrowing from parents, things like that. Once you can get that seed money and buy a good machine and know what you're doing and have work, the rest is great. It just takes off from there.
Yeah.
It goes slow at first, but once have all of your P's and Q's ready so that everything is figured out ahead of time. Where are you going to find your work? Know your machine, know your tooling and stuff. Again, we had cut stainless for 10 years at a previous company, so we knew all the tools that would work and which ones didn't work.
Right.
So we just replicated that when we started our own business.
Right. So you didn't have some long process of discovery and huge learning curve.
The only learning curve we had over the years was when we got a new machine and learning it the different ways, like the twin spindle over there, the live tooling and twin spindles over here. The chuckers, we throw a program in. They put it on the floor. By the time the electrician has the electric hooked up and the tech has a machine leveled, I'm throwing programs in, jaws and tools.
Right.
We've already had a machine on the floor, and next morning we were making parts on it already. So,
wow,
we've done it a couple times.
So a lot of shops, they'll get a machine, and me from being in the tooling world, I know they get a machine delivered, and it could be months before they're running a part on it.
If you're going to buy it, have everything ready.
Right.
The programs, we have them all figured out.
Right. It's easy to just pop it from one machine to another.
Every machine can run any of the programs.
Now, do you do programming all right on the machine, or do you use CAM software?
We do what we call variable programming. Everything is diameter 1, 2, 3, 4, length 1, 2, 3, 4. So since we do families of parts, it's very easy. I have cheat sheets for the guys to look at. They look at the part, they look at their print. It says they'll cut and paste the program, and I also have the programs are their own entity. There's a face program, and it does the face, goes home, then it stops. It calls up the next program. That might be a boring or a drilling, turning, different turning programs, different boring programs. So you can stack them, you can move them around and stuff. So you have your variables and all your programs that you want to run. So each tool is its own program. So I have kids right out of OTech within 6 months, they understand it, and they're programming already. We do fairly simple parts. It's lathe parts, not milling parts.
Right. So you're just dealing with 2 axes, right?
Mostly 2 axes. Yes.
Right.
Yep. So it's fairly easy to program right at the machine and stuff. We cut and paste. We have 35 years of programming and stuff, so we have everything fairly well figured out. We can cut and paste and make the job work.
Right. So if you had to advise somebody, there's a guy in a shop, he's a skilled machinist, he wants to start his own shop, what advice would you have for him?
find work, hook up with somebody that can download some of their work with you. I've already done that with other shops. We download excess work to other shops. I have a guy right now, he's waiting to buy. He used to be an employee, very smart young man, and I'm waiting for him. He wants to buy one of our used machines, but we're not ready to give it up yet. But he wants to start a shop at home.
Okay.
And I'm trying to talk him into buying a brand new machine.
Right.
He doesn't want to take that step yet. I would like to see him take it.
Right.
And we can help him out by giving him some of our overflow work to get him started. So if you can do that, that's great. You know, if you can buy a new machine, it's great. They have all kinds of financing that they can do for you.
Right.
Know your tooling, what tooling you want to use, what machine you want, your tooling, you know, and the jobs that you want. Get all those things figured out first, and don't go into it blind. Have everything figured out.
Right. Get the work ahead of time, kind of. Get
the work, figure it out. How am I going to do this job, and then buy accordingly. So, and start out with basic jobs. Don't take really difficult jobs because they don't pay. And, you know, if you're wasting too much time buying expensive machines and expensive tooling to do it, start out with basics. Get easy jobs that you can make quick turnaround money on, and build your way up to bigger machines and you know, more complicated machines.
Yeah. So don't start out with a impeller for Lockheed Martin.
Correct.
Not to mention all the certifications and stuff.
Yeah. Stay away from government work. There's too many headaches that go with that.
Yeah.
So.
But if you get in with the government, you're probably doing all right.
Yeah. Yeah.
They get some big contracts.
Yeah.
Now, do you guys have any type of like the ISO 9000 certifications, or if you're making your own product, you don't really need that, right?
Some of the customers ask if we're ISO or not. I always joke that it's in search of, you know, we make junk and we have the paperwork to prove it. You know, we make our fittings to PPE standards, biopharmaceutical engineering.
Okay.
So they have standards. They say this fitting must be made to this. Your barb end could be whatever you want for the hose and stuff, but the BPE ends, they're all figured out already. So as long as you stay within those guidelines, you're fine. Again, most of our tolerances are ±5, so we have pretty much leeway there.
Right.
And we hold that. It's real easy for us to hold those sizes.
And on this type of machine, for people who don't know, ±5 is
a mile.
Totally doable.
Yeah.
With you know, pressed carbide insert and
a
high precision machine.
Yes.
So, and that's ±5 thousandths.
Yes.
If people aren't up on machinist lingo. So 5 thousandths of an inch.
We sell to a few European countries, but most everything we do is in the United States.
Okay.
Material is usually Swiss or Italian, so we're not too worried about that. We're locked in pretty good on everything. We're not worried about tariffs for the most part.
And the pharmaceutical industry, that's not going anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah.
They're always going to need to make drugs.
I mean, as my partner used to always say, we make fittings for the food and drug industry, and everybody eats and everybody gets sick, so we're going to have work. So.